Noob D&D Dad here, and we are talking session 14 in the Curse of Strahd with the Army veterans that I am DMing for as their noob DM. So when I'm doing my session prep the night before, whenever I do it, I ask myself a few questions. One of them is, where are they literally on the map currently? And where could they go from here? So the answer to that is that they are boop, here-ish. And places they could go is they could go back to the tower, they could go to Kresk, or Wizard of the Wines only if they go to Kresk. So then I just do my best to read ahead in those areas and what could they possibly encounter there. Story-wise, Kresk has two of the Taraka card reading items. Kresk has the Tome and the Ally, both there. So it's hugely important for them to go there. But in my reading, I found out that the Burgomaster, Dimitri, he won't let anybody in through the gates unless they get him a wagon load of wine from the Wizard of Wines. So it's very much like fetch quest to get inside another place to do another quest. Like it's very, I guess it's kind of classic D&D. You need to find a thing to get you into a thing so that you can find the thing. But that's how it goes. And I guess the players were really genuinely freaked out by the tower, von Richten's tower, and so they're leaving that in the distance right now, and which makes sense. But the funny thing is, they're going somewhere that's also pretty hard. So, and I need to remember that the last random encounter they had, they just cut through the bandits like butter. So session 14 starts, and they meet the Burgomaster. He comes down to the gate, and I don't know if he opens it. I think he opens it all the way, and there's guards and stuff, and he basically says like, I'll let you in if you go get me a load of wine because we're short on wine. And the players briefly discussed sneaking into town because there's a wall, right? So they have to go to the gate, and they could totally sneak in right there or over here. Like it's a steep mountain, but it's not like impenetrable. But ultimately, essentially, their leader, a lawful good ranger, is like, no, we'll do this quest. So I very excitedly roll on the random encounter table, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make this encounter harder if it happens. And I roll for a silver wolf head whistle trinket, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like that has no plot significance, and they're all like, oh, I wonder what this is gonna do if we blow on it, and I'm just like, nothing. It's just a random encounter piece of junk that I found. And then I think I rolled another random encounter, and they found 6 Barovian scouts searching for a person bit by a werewolf. And they the players meet them, and they clearly don't want to fight, even though the other people were pointing a crossbow at them. But they're just like, hey, if you can help us subdue them and bring them back to Barovia, that would be awesome. And the players, it's funny because these are just things that I'm throwing at them that are either straight out of the book or that are kind of out of the book. But it's funny to see the players be like, ooh, we should go off that way. And then also at the same time be like, no, let's stay focused and do what we're actually doing. If you're a player, have you ever been like a distractible player where you just get distracted by everything and go do everything and not actually do your quest? Or if you're a DM, have you had players just get distracted by every little falling leaf that they see and the story never progresses? All right, so they approach the Wizard of Wines winery, and it says it's raining here and there. You see, a man wearing a dark cloak and cowl stands at the edge of the trees beckoning you. So they ignored this person completely for whatever reason. And so it tells you that 30 needle blights basically start approaching them from all around. And here's something interesting. It says the blights are 120 feet away. The characters can either barricade themselves in the winery, thus keeping the needle blights at bay, or stand and fight. If they stay out and fight, the druids and the blights from inside come in on the rounds below. But my players didn't do either of those things. So, yes, they go into the place, the building, and they go into this room, which is full of tools and materials you could barricade stuff with. And they don't barricade the door. They decide to go into the next room with the barrels, and they pile some barrels in front of the door. So I'm looking at this thing in the book, and I'm like, okay, you didn't barricade yourselves, and you're in this other room, so which trigger would take effect? So I decided to have it so that the needle blights break down the door of the thing that they didn't barricade, and the battle commences. And on round 3, more things are going to join them. So I'm kind of treating it like if they were outside. Anyway, it seems to work okay. So our druid player can cast spike growth, and this is like so destructive for these little twig people. And so a ton of them get killed from various forms of that. But they all just cram into that room, and eventually they zero out. I think they zero out the Goliath character because he's like right in front and he gets zeroed out, but of course he gets healed. So basically the players battle them from the door of that room with the barrels. And at the end of session 14, because we don't have a lot of time with these early morning veteran D&D sessions, I'm like, okay, it's round 3 of combat, and you guys didn't barricade the doors, and the people in the room right behind you, this room, because the players are in W4 and in W9. W9 is where there's a whole bunch more baddies, and so I have the door behind them open, and then we're like, okay, that's it for next week. That's our session. And so session 14 is basically them getting to the winery, ignoring a cloaked figure, and then basically battling a whole bunch of twig people. And one thing that was added that I don't think was in the last monster manual was that the twig people now have like swarming abilities. So anyway, at this point, I'm very excited to use a druid and cast spells and such. And you need to wait till session 15 to see how how well that went. So anyway, this has been session 14 with the Army veteran group that I'm a noob DM for. I'm also DMing for my son. So let me know if this microphone sounds better than the normal videos, and let me know your feedback on that. Okay, thanks for watching.